And in Finance World, we're going to begin with the top lines we're following at this hour. The Mudra scheme, which was launched last year, sees a good response. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley notes that against the target of disbursing 1.22 lakh crore rupees loans last fiscal, 1.35 lakh crores have been disbursed by March 31st to 3.32 crore families. To ensure smooth procurement and distribution of food grains, the government releases 25,834 crore rupees as food subsidy to state-owned Food Corporation of India for this fiscal. The bulk of the food subsidy is paid to FCI for buying food grain at support price and running the public distribution system. Oil prices could be heading back towards $30 per barrel, ending this year's rally, which has sent the black stuff up around 50%. A meeting of OPEC and non-OPEC oil-producing countries in Doha on 17th April could result in an initial agreement to freeze output at February levels or at an average of January and February levels. And with the Reserve Bank of India cutting benchmark repo rate by 25 basis points to 6.5%, the cost of loans for consumers could get lower, including automobile and home buyers. The repo rate, which is at its lowest in 5 years, will help banks reduce borrowing costs, helping boost economic growth. And let's talk a little more about that. Now, by cutting the repo rate yet again, this time by 25 basis points, the RBI has increased pressure on banks to pass on the decline in interest rates to borrowers. Now, if banks pass on the full benefit of the cut, borrowers stand to gain. A cut in the repo rate means lower cost of funds for banks. Assuming banks pass on this rate cut to borrowers of home, car and other loans which are on floating rate, they would benefit. And let's take a look at how fall in rate impacts home loan, which is on the flexible interest rate. First, we're going to talk about the effect on the loan tenure. Now, let's assume an outstanding amount on a home loan is 10 lakh with 20 years remaining and at an interest rate of 10.5% at an EMI of 9,983 rupees. Now, if the rate falls by 0.25%, keeping the EMI constant, the tenure falls by about 13 months. On EMIs, let's see what the effect is going to be like. Now, it's going to be the most visible impact of the rate cut is going to be on EMIs. Let's say the EMI on 40 lakh loan for 15 years at 9.5% interest rate is 41,769. If there is a 0.25% increase in the home loan rate, the EMI falls to 41,168 rupees, which is a saving of 600 rupees a month. So we're going to have to wait and watch if banks actually pass on that benefit to the consumers. Now let's take a look at the markets and see how they're performing in trade. We're going to begin with the Asian pack first. The Nikkei, Kospi, Straight Time, XJS, Nifty, a mixed bag here. As you can see, the Nikkei and the Straight Times trading with the negative buyers, down in trade about 0.5%. That's what the Nikkei is showing. The Kospi and the XJS, Nifty, though, in the green, so we could be getting some positive cues from those indicators there. Let's turn to the US markets and see how they closed in trade yesterday. The Dow, S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq were down in trade about 0.5 to 1% in yesterday's trade, and that's how they closed. Turning to the European markets, they were also hit by negativity. The FTSE 100 and the DAX in the red. The FTSE 100, 74 points down, while the DAX lost 258 points. The Indian markets, too, saw a negative rally. The BSE Sensex and the Nifty both down in yesterday's trade. The Sensex about 516 points and the Nifty 155. We'll just have to wait and watch really happens in the markets today when they're open. But that's all we have for you in Finance World for today. For the rest of the news, it's back to Nancy and Preeti.